What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another Sandstorm stream. We have a lovely guest with us today. I want you to welcome Tiago from Warner Music. Let's
Hey everyone,
go.
how's it going? Great hearing all your shouts. Much appreciated. Much appreciated.
I gotta ease up on that soundboard, Tiago, as you mentioned
No,
earlier.
no, you don't. No, you don't. I love that soundboard, particularly this
Looks
effect.
looks like DJ EJ bought a WMG pass today. Let's go. That's awesome. That's awesome.
EJ11, much appreciated. Thank you very much.
Alrighty, guys, welcome into the stream. NFTS 2968 Zolnex, DJ EJ. What's up, guys? What's going on? I know there's a lot of streams. I'm still early, 5 minutes into stream as people start to trickle in. Today's guest, like I said, is Tiago from Warner Music. Tiago, could you start by maybe talking about yourself? Because I personally want to get to know you a little better, who you are, and how you are involved with Warner Music, and then we can start talking about what we're doing with Warner Music going forward.
Sure, great. I mean, first of all, Dizzy, thanks for hosting me. Really, really happy to be here and happy to talk to the community, hear what you have to say, and just share a little bit about what's the genesis of this and what's in store, honestly, as a whole. For about me, so I am a operator, if you will, in the Warner Music Group, and I've been working there for the last 5 years.
Okay.
And really, when I started, the whole world was quite different than it is today, particularly the music industry, but also just generally where we are as a consumer media landscape. And I was tasked with looking at opportunities like the next TikTok.
All right.
But those don't come around every day. So I started looking at a variety of different things. Which include anything from digital self-identity to Web3 and gaming. And so what I'm doing right now is I am heading up all of our Metaverse operations, including our strategy around our presence in all the UGC gaming platforms, which includes Sandbox, which includes Roblox, which includes Fortnite, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
And having a creative edge on how that can come into play and come to fruition. So the images that you're seeing right there, partially I am one of the people responsible for bringing this to life, both our strategic vision as well as the artists that we work with. That's
awesome.
What I am doing.
So you're pretty much in charge of the new age tech that you can help expand Warner Music into.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a village. Of course, I'm not the only one.
Yeah, of course.
And we have a fantastic team that's been doing that for more than 5 years. But yes, particularly when it comes to gaming and all of the Metaverse experiences, I've been exec producing them overall and having a creative point on them.
Yeah, I mean, I know the Sand Fam, as we would call it, which is kind of like a term of everybody, most of the OGs that started on the original Sandbox builders, creators, as we call them, Sand Fam, was really excited when we saw Warner Music join the Sandbox, because that is huge for Sandbox itself and us as the players and builders, because that gives us so much more potential within this game and so much more potential for the space as well. So I know
the reaction that was incredible. I remember when we did the announcement, it took a little bit of time to get it over the line, from a corp comms perspective, from a PR perspective, just having the messaging and all of the approvals needed. But when it went out, and it went out relatively fast in comparison to many others, the reaction was a chain reaction of happiness and excitement, and we were blown away. Artists our own artists, other artists,
Right.
their managers and their teams came to us saying, awesome, would love to know more. We've heard about Sandbox. We're really interested. We had already known that artists were quite interested in the community of Sandbox and the platform of Sandbox. So we know we were heading in the right direction. But
Right.
I think it was just more around the general scale of the reaction was very, very overwhelming for us, and we were so happy with it. So yeah, I'm very happy that the Sand fam reacted positively to it, because we also did, and we know that the wider artist community was also very excited about it.
Yeah, and I can definitely see a lot that even though the market is kind of down now, right? And you guys came out at a time that it was kind of on the lower end of the market, and even then, it was still of a great reaction, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
And in let's talk. Slaterate is in the game right now in the experience in the hub, in the Warner Music Hub. If you guys want to join him, he's in there, just hang out in there. But can we talk about a little about this experience? How did this come to fruition? What were you guys thinking? I personally think this was a great level design, great game design in terms of any of the social hubs um, that were out until maybe some of the new ones that came out. But this was definitely far one of the best ones that I've seen. Seems like a lot of thought has been put into it, a lot of potential for growth, and seems like there's room for artists to maybe even potentially have their booths or stores in here. Um, that's kind of the vision that I saw as soon as I walked in here. I was like blown away. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. And by the way, just first, I have to say those comments, especially coming from a game builder and a level designer, are the exact type of comments that we love hearing, and makes my heart fill with pride to hear them. So thank you very much, Dizzy. It's much appreciated. With regards to the vision, I think you hit that quite spot on, actually. The world is really more promise than actually fulfillment yet. But
Mm-hmm.
the thing is, we are here to stay for a long time, right? So when we made the announcement, which we were talking about before, we said that this was going to be our first ever persistent, always on UGC gaming world, UGC gaming experience, right? So of course it's not something that we're going to launch out the bat 100% as it's meant to be
Right.
in the future, because one, it doesn't make sense to just to launch everything off the bat without knowing all the
Right.
variables, right? And knowing where everyone wants to go. Two, because we definitely want to build this with the community, right? We're not going to build
Mm-hmm.
it in a silo. We want to make sure that the community, the builders, the artists, the players, anyone who is interested and can contribute and wants to contribute, we want to build them with them. And then finally, because we have a 24 by 24 plot of land, so launching that amount of scale out the gate would just take a long time. It would probably still be building by now. So our first intention is to really just start relatively small and start with a partial piece of the experience of the 24 by 24
Mm-hmm.
plot of land, and then expand from thereafter. And we have a very, very specific roadmap on how to do that, but we're just right at the beginning. The vision, as you laid out, is actually um, quite spot on. I'll say again, in the sense
Mm-hmm.
that we wanted to make sure that there is the ability for artists to come in at a variety of different stages. And by stages, I mean phases of the roadmap. For
Mm-hmm.
them to come in at a variety of different levels of involvement, right? You might have a highlight artist that will essentially be like Sueco is, and we can talk a little bit more
Mm-hmm.
about Sueco, which is being shown on the trailer. A highlight artist where you are going to have the full fat of the exposure to the experience and the buildings of the experience, to perhaps some which are just more temporary, just more low touch, low but also slightly lower impact, where we might be doing meet and greets or simple like Easter eggs. There's a variety of different levels of scale and of impact that they can join in, as well as the
Mhm.
community who wants to build with us, right? So we want to make sure that there is space for the land to grow, which is why you'll see on the edges those more Tron-like blue-ish, darkened blue-ish type
One of my
of
favorites.
edges.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you. Which indicate that things are still being assembled, things are still being
Yeah.
built, and there's an open invitation for these things to be built with everyone from the community, right?
Mhm.
We just don't want it to be in a silo. Of course, we want stuff to be done initially with our vision in mind, and then expand it beyond to other folks' visions. And that's why, you might recognize some of the iconography of some legendary artists
Mhm.
in these pieces, which serves as a point of inspiration for the artists, for the builders, for everyone involved to think about,
Mhm.
wait, what would it mean to have Biggie? What would it mean to
Right.
have Pink Floyd? What would it mean to have Kraftwerk? And what would it mean to have my favorite artist? And what would it mean to have me as an
Right.
underground emerging act present in this land, right? So that's kind of what we wanted to do with this social lobby, which is
Mhm.
essentially the navigational hub to
Right.
our land.
Right.
The other experience, which is simultaneously open and can be accessed via the social lobby, is the Sueco experience, which we were showing before on the
Right.
trailer. That's accessible in the so-called highlight featured portal right at the center of the main square. That essentially allows you to move yourself, exactly, thank you, Slater Ray, move you to the Sueco 1x1 single player game where there's a
Yeah.
specific storyline, and you'll get to know a little bit more around who Sueco is, his latest album, his latest releases. You'll be able to listen to the music of Sueco as you go through it, and there's 3 different levels that you'll have to go through and explore in this narrative linear approach that includes a variety of gameplay features, from PvE to obstacle courses, etc. So the story goes that you will land, as later it has just landed, in a concert, a
Right.
Sueco beachside concert, and then Sueco will call you up to his backstage to have him help on a little mission around rebuilding his car, and you'll have to help rebuild his car by going through these 3 different levels. Every single level represents a different music video of Sueco, and so the likeness, the aesthetics, the design
Mhm.
is all going to be based, or has been based, in one of those music videos. And as you go through it, you'll also listen to the music, and you'll learn a little bit more about who Sueco is, what he likes, and why he's involved in Sandbox, which, by the way, is a whole story itself, which definitely worth saying. But yeah, this is just the beginning. The social lobby, the Sueco experience. We'll start adding more feature highlight experiences, and slightly expand the social lobby at every
Mhm.
season that passes. So we are now just looking to learn and looking to get feedback from everyone who's joined this season and who's joined the experience and who's able to participate. So we're very happy so far.
Yeah. So many things I want to just kind of rewind
Yeah,
on that you kind of
go for
touched
it.
on. But it seems like Warner Music, corporate company, right? It's kind of
Mhm.
uh, maybe disconnected from the community originally, right? Because they're kind of doing their own thing, right? And now it seems like they're trying to get the more connection, creating that community. There's obviously the community, but maybe the interaction with the community is coming more to fruition. Would you say?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look, it's
And
a learning process.
right, and then with the building with the community, would that look like maybe game jams involved or contests or maybe winners of those games would be, there's 20 by 24 by 24. That's around 20. What is it? 500 plus land, I think.
Yeah,
That's a lot of land, right? And obviously you
that's a
guys
lot of
won't
land.
be, yeah, you won't be able to fill all that with by yourself. You definitely need help, and I can definitely understand why having the community involved. And if you guys can spare a land or two for me, I would take it too. But um, yeah. So is that kind of the vision with that? When you mean like building with the community, or is it something different?
Yeah, no, you're again spot on. So game jams, competitions are all things that we want to do, and we will be doing. We're already doing a lot of little giveaways and other engagement-based competitions on our Discord community, on socials. But we want to be able to progressively open it up, especially as we move on to the next seasons, to have it, to have these game jams, to have these more building and asset competitions, to be a partial vertebra of our spine in our world. And we want
Hmm.
it to have we want our world to be a vessel, a vehicle to allow the creators who feel artistic, who feel like they are competent, who feel like they have something particularly interesting to add to the wider narrative that we'll share with them, um,
Hmm.
so that they can see themselves and their work represented in our world and feel proud, right? We want to be able to, and this isn't about having 24 by 24 plot of land. Even if we had a one by
Right.
one, we
Right.
totally want to do that. But we want to make sure that this is built with the community in mind and that they feel proud in what they've achieved. And look, we're already reaching out. We already have contacts. We've already been introduced by Sandbox and a variety of them folks. So look, what
Hmm.
I would say right here is if you are builders and you are listening to this, if you are developing or if you are designing, if you are artists, just reach out to us and let's have a conversation. Things might not move as quickly as you'd hope because that's the
Yeah.
problem of working with a corporate, as Dizzy
Right.
mentioned before. But our heart's definitely in a good place, and we want to make sure that things happen as we go through it, and we want to learn with you, right? So this has been a very long journey for us as a company, as a corporation,
Hmm.
since the first moment where we started discovering what Web3 was all about, right? Like
Right.
years ago, and how Web3 organized communities and how it organized groups of people with single-minded beliefs, um, and um, and that's ultimately why I think it's an interesting learning challenge, because we want to put ourselves in front of the community with these builders so that we can also shape and change our status quo, right? Because otherwise,
Right.
we're always going to be a Web 2 company,
Right.
not moving into the Web 3 space. So we
Right.
need to
And
be
and
pushed
super
out of our
important
comfort zone.
to, yeah, and it's super important to stay alive, right? It's or keep the flame burning for generations to come. That's what you got to do. Keep adapting to the market, right? And it looks like you guys are headed in a great way there. And meant, going back to the hub a little bit, I did, as soon as I logged into the hub, I immediately understood what you guys were trying to do, because we have a hub at Sandstorm, and we try to represent brands, and we do something similar, right? Where we're trying to have different zones and different spots for brands. It was just a great setup, I think, and I think I'll be super excited once we get like more features of like streaming and all that, and we can talk a little bit about that later. But going into Sueco, which is an interesting experience as well for one by one. They use the underground, different layers and elements, and I did not know that they were actually part from the music video, because I'm not a big Sueco fan, but that's really interesting. That's an interesting way of kind of doing it. I want to kind of almost go back, watch the music videos, and then play it again. And I did learn a
You
lot
sure?
about Sueco in this game, and I think it hit its purpose as well. So nice job
Yeah.
to you and the team for that.
Thank you. Like Sueco, by the way, Sueco, if you're watching, thanks for working with us. It's been an absolute pleasure. Lucas, the whole team. Like the reality is that Sueco was already a Sandbox fan. Actually, he
Hmm.
had his own
Wow.
little plot of land. He was very native to the Web3 space. He had his koala projects. So in Sueco, we had really probably the best artist that we could hope for, because
Hmm.
his not only was his heart in the right place, but he knew what we're talking in a lot of ways, probably better than we did, right? Because he was there with the community, he knew how to do things, he was talking to the community members. So Sueco was really a one of a kind artist to start our feature with, and it was an obvious shoe in. And
Hmm.
he, because he was so excited, because he was so involved, because it was something so dear to his heart, we had an unprecedented level of contribution and engagement from Sueco, right? In our Discord, we have levels. One of them is a rock star. WMG pass holders are also benefiters of the benefit that I'm going to mention. Like
Hmm.
he himself went out to our Discord and did a AMA with the users, with the fans, with the community, right? With the
Hmm.
level, with the Rockstar level and the LMG passes. So, that level of unprecedented, unfiltered access is what we got from Sueco. And, that gets people, that gets fans, that gets players excited, right? Because you get to ask them, like, hey, what did you think of this? Why did you do this? Why did you choose this song? Why did you choose that music video, right? Because
Hmm.
you could, for example, go to them and say, like, hey, why did you choose to represent yourself in this way? Like, and he would answer that, right? Because he was intimately part of the creative process. We had multiple meetings with his team and himself, where we designed all of this. We talked about what we wanted to capture, what we wanted to exemplify, and that's the way I think these projects should be, right?
Right.
In very close connection with the artists themselves, and bringing to life their creative vision. That's kind of what
Yep.
I've been doing at Warner for a while. It's allowing our artists to set forth a creative vision, and
Hmm.
then I'll be there with my team to help translate that into a 3D
Right.
environment, right? Into a gameplay feature, into some sort of game, right? That's kind of what we're there to do, and it's really exciting when the artist is really involved, really directly
Right.
connected to this. That's how the chance to exec produce these opportunities really becomes a dream. And we've
Right.
done so across a variety of different platforms. In Sandbox, there are more limitations because of the game maker, but I have to say, I think we're incredibly proud of what we've achieved, from PvE to obstacle courses that you're seeing right
Yeah.
now, platformers, and we're able to represent the artist's creative vision in a way that
Yeah.
is compelling to them, and that they've been happy. And I think we've only heard good feedback from Sueco and his team, and I think they're incredibly happy that they were able to be part of a significant point in history for Sandbox, right?
Hmm.
As it moves into this new era after season 3. So I think he's going to be very
Yep.
happy to say, like, I was there. I was one of the OGs on season 3, and and
Yeah.
um, and build this together with Warner.
Yeah, and it's I can definitely understand what you're saying with working with artists. Not, it's super, like, building something is super difficult. Building something for somebody else's vision is even more difficult because you want to be able to nail it, right?
Yes.
And I think you guys hit the spot on that, and you guys been working with artists for for decades, and
Yes.
what you guys are doing, obviously, and translating that into the new world. It's just it is exciting. It's exciting for us to see. It's probably exciting for you guys, like you said, to be able to do, because this is new for everyone. It's a learning process for everybody in this chat room. For us at Sandstorm, we're learning new things every day, and it's a new market, right? It's kind of like Web 1 going into Web 2, and I definitely see a lot of potential there. Going forward as more features come in. obviously, right? The I wanted to talk about a little bit about the pass, the WGM pass,
Yeah.
WMG pass. I'm sorry. Um, I know there's a drop coming up soon, right?
Hmm.
Uh, could you mention a little bit about like the WMG pass, what it does, what it will do? Oh, Slaterade has it on screen already. But maybe it'd be nice to kind of go over it verbally.
Yeah, I mean, look. First of all, the WMP Pass is an experiment. It's something that we're going to continue doing over the course of every season. Right, we're going to release a new pass for every season, and it's
Mhm.
meant to be season specific. Right, it's going to give you very specific benefits which you can enjoy that season and every season beyond. And we tried to, as much as possible, make that pass valuable to the eyes of everyone, from people who were just getting into Sandbox and want something very, very tangible, to people who might not be very familiar with the environment but just want to have a point of entry and a point of
Right.
engagement, to people who are super experienced and just want to get very specific stuff, very valuable stuff. So we tried to cater for everyone in that spectrum, which, sometimes it's hard. We've had a lot of learnings in WG Pass, and we've been hearing the community about what they would like to see, would like to do. But ultimately, there's a variety of benefits, right?
Right.
Chiefly, the first thing is that you'll get access to a specific set of NFTs, right? Which are not the ones that are being showed, just as an
Yeah.
FYI.
It does
um,
actually seem like that was my next question. I'm like, are those the ones? I'm pretty sure it was a secret.
Secret, I can't reveal it right now.
Yeah, guys, hold on.
And but they
Hold
will
on to your hat.
be, legendary and unique, sorry, and rare levels, which make them quite valuable just from a cumulative perspective of what you're getting
Right.
bang for buck on the pass's overall price. Um,
Right.
Afterwards, you're buying the pass to get into a community, and so as soon as you have a pass, you will be accessing exclusive levels, exclusive areas in our Discord. And similarly, when we expand the land, you will be able to have gated access to areas which others might not, but that's obviously not something that is still here. It's going to be more on the future. There are a
Mhm.
variety of other benefits as well. Like, for example, if you are in those private Discord areas, you'll then get benefits like Sueco coming in by surprise and doing an AMA, right? And only you, because you have the WMG Pass, can access it, etc. Um, and then a little music nod that we did is we know people listen to music
Right.
on the DSPs, and they'll listen to music alongside Sandbox, right? Sometimes
Mhm.
they'll just want to listen to their own music, and so we created uh, a playlist called Sounds of the Metaverse, which is a community created playlist, right? If you are a WMG pass holder, you can submit whatever song you want in there. If you're an emerging artist and you want your song to be featured in the Sounds of the Metaverse playlist, that's the way that you submit it, and you can curate it. And there's already, I think, over 3,000 followers of the playlist. So, so these are just some of the benefits that we've tried to include in the WMG Pass. We're going to have more traditional IRL benefits as well. Like, for example, if you have the WMG Pass, you'll be able to claim an exclusive physical merchandise item. In this case, for Gen Zero, it's a T-shirt from Sueco. So, really, it's a diverse bunch of benefits and utility that we wanted to bring into the pass. And next season, we'll launch a new pass for that season, where we're hoping to get more benefits just like the ones that you've seen, plus the continuation of some of the traditional ones.
I'm actually going and buying it right now. Hold on one second.
Awesome. I
Quite.
convinced you.
Question. Yeah, I did not know it had. I knew it gave NFTs, and I was like, all right, I'll get it at some point before it runs out. Procrastinator tisk on me, but I know I've seen something for. I think there was a last minute thing. Are you able to still get the legendary, or is that time passed? If they buy like within the next hour or something, is the time over?
I I will need actually I'll need to double check because I think the time
Okay.
might have just passed for the legendary item.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I mean, still a lot of good perks there. I'm gonna still go ahead and purchase it
Yeah,
for myself.
there's a lot of good perks, and
But yeah,
like
this is
those NFTs are um actually just thinking about it. I think you might be able to still get the legendary if you buy today. Like, but it's just like last minute. Don't hold me to it. So community, don't be angry if that's not the case.
everybody messaged Tiago. It's like, where's my legendary asset?
But I
Um,
think that's still the case. And by the way, those NFTs are those NFTs, those assets are wearable and they're going to be exclusive. Like you're not
ooh,
going to be able to get them anywhere else. So if you drip them around, if you show them, people will know you were Gen Zero in the past, and there's not going to be anyone else that we're getting it.
let's go. Yeah, I'm definitely
Like
up for it. And I really
we
like
changed
that, like being able to submit your own music. And I really like that part because that's really another way for builders to kind of um, give exposure to themselves, right? I can, for example, just throwing out what I was thinking, whereas I wanna represent Sandstorm, right? I can go have a Sandstorm song written up and then have that be part of the playlist,
Yeah,
and that would give some exposure to Sandstorm, right? It was just an idea, and this is what
yeah,
builders can use it for as well. So it's just like another playlist, right? Or another point of entry for people to know who you are as a builder. But
yeah.
really, really cool. Um,
Can
so
we
many
skip?
questions
Sorry,
that I.
can I ask you? Can I ask you to skip to the next visual because this is probably an outdated one, I think. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I actually don't have access to that. So
later one
literally,
if you
yeah.
can do that. That would be great. Cool, perfect. Much appreciated.
Um, and then you guys seem like you have like 36,000 members on Discord right now,
Yeah,
I think.
it was
And
a
is
very big surprise.
and yeah, and has this kind of like, did Discord exist before the whole sandbox thing, or was it kind of like
Yeah,
together?
so the Discord is meant to be the aggregating the gathering point for all of our gaming initiatives. So it started with the intent of energizing the community around Sandbox. Then we've just done a Fortnite experience with Aya Nakamura as part of the Soundwave series. So we have been gathering Fortnite and Aya fans over there.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there on, as we expand into other platforms, which we're already building in, by platforms, I mean games, the community, that Discord will be the center point for getting everyone talking, winning prizes, competing, participating, contributing. That's going to be the focal point. But it was created originally with in tandem with Sandbox. So that's
Yeah.
why a lot of the community out there is still very much Sandbox oriented, and we'll continue very much focusing on bringing the Sandbox fans, Sandbox users, and Sandbox builders into the space,
Yeah.
even though we're expanding into other areas as well.
I'm really interested to see the creators and builders of the other metaverse, because I really know the Sand Fam and the Sandbox creators, and it's, if you compare to like Decentraland, I've always seen the builders and creators as kind of like consumers, right? Whereas I've
Mhm.
always seen the Sandbox community more as entrepreneurs and builders and artists, right? Because it's not really easy to build on Decentraland, but it's easier to consume and buy and gamble and all that stuff. But um, whereas Sandbox is like Legos almost, right? You're building, you're creating, you're
Yeah,
having fun, you're talking, and it really creates this positive community. And I love being part of the community as well. And I really hope as growth happens for for you guys, for other metaverses, that it always stays as a positive community. Um,
yeah. I mean, look, we've experienced a lot of other developer communities as well. For example, on Roblox, which is now going through a major professionalization, right? You have some more professional studios than ever. I was
Right.
recently at the Roblox Developers Conference and saw a lot of that firsthand. On Fortnite, where the creator community and developer community is still quite nascent, but there are already some professional studios. So,
Hmm.
I expect in a lot of ways Sandbox to follow suit, with having, as you said, that what you mentioned, the correct entrepreneurial studio approach rather than just being prosumers. But it is also very easy for any consumer to become a more prosumer user and to start building. That is one of the advantages of Sandbox over everything else, because it is very much drag and drop. It is no code, right?
No.
And that significantly lowers the barriers, which is why from an artist perspective, from a user perspective, we're really keen on having everyone engage as much as possible. And Sandbox seems, from an engagement perspective, to have the features that allows everyone, regardless of their ability to code or their knowledge to do 3D, to be able to participate.
Yeah, yeah. It's like I said, it's super easier for Sandbox rather than being able to do it in Fortnite or Decentraland.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to kind of clarify that again. Um, but yeah, super excited. I'm still like trying to purchase the thing while you're talking. I'm like, shit, I don't have enough sand. Um, so I gotta figure that out. But yeah, I see you guys are doing like game nights. There's something coming up tomorrow. It's a Poke 2. You want to talk a little bit about that? Because it's not really clear looking at the Discord of what it is.
I think it might be a stream. So we're trying to engage with streamers on how they can experience the Sandbox worlds, both the Sueco as well as the social lobby. And so
Very
we,
cool.
we want to make sure that we reach the community in one way, shape, or form. And another way to do so is by going out to streamers and having them do similar to stuff to what you're doing, right? Having
Yeah.
a live stream, broadcasting what they think about the experience, doing the challenges, doing the quests, doing the
Hmm.
missions, having their live feedback come in. We felt that it's been very worthwhile, particularly in this first stage where we just want to see people experience things and want to see people talking about what they thought. And we're listening to everyone's feedback and we're taking care of all of that. But in general, we just want to make sure that everyone is entertained and happy and feels like they are adding something to the experience as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's definitely on the right track for sure. Let me see. I think that's all the questions I have so far. Unless I forgot something. Is there any artist that you can maybe give a sneak peek about, or should we get
Yeah,
started?
I mean, we've already announced in NFT NYC and our Sandbox party that the next artist that we're going to do something with is Tiesto, and there were
Yeah.
some visual displays out there. So Tiesto is going to be our next highlight artist. Um,
I was
exactly
just
from this
jumping up
year.
and down when that was happening. I wasn't looking at the screen. It was
Yeah.
just lost. It
Were
was a
you
good
there at
time. It
the
was a great
NFT
party.
NYC
I
party? Yeah,
was.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it was a great
Um,
party.
yeah, and Tiesto performed, so it made a lot of sense for him to be a part of, because he's also been someone who is exploring the space, Web3 space,
Hmm.
with his Eagle projects as well. And I think Sandbox, the platform, just had a very positive reaction when we announced Tiesto as well, because he's
Yeah.
like a significant big art. Like, I mean, I remember listening to Tiesto when I was a teenager
Right.
back then. So it's just an honor to be working with him again and trying to get his creative vision. And I think he has a very cool creative vision for this, and I'm just excited to help build it.
Well, we're definitely excited to see where this is all going to go with Warner Music and the artists that are coming, and we'll be definitely be following. And for those who are still unaware, make sure you guys follow and join the Discord on WMG Gaming Music. Go buy the
Yes,
WMG Pass. It's only
yes,
$50. So
it's a
much value
bargain.
there. Yeah, definitely. As soon as I can convert my sand, that's the first thing I'm doing right now. And hopefully you'll be in time to get the legendary we're not really too sure on when that cutoff time is, but I'm gonna try my luck anyway. Well, I mean that's about it. I want to thank you for joining me, Tiago. Thank you for letting me interview you, and thank you for all the information that you provided. And
Absolute
is there
pleasure.
anything you want to express or any
Look,
last words?
I would say if anyone in the community has any questions, go ahead and send them our way. If you have feedback, if you have complaints, if you have words of advice, send them our way. If you are building, if you are developing, if you are designing, come our way, because we definitely want to be taking on this journey with you guys and with your thoughts and your visions in mind. But ultimately, we're just excited. Come on down and play, and join our wider UGC gaming initiatives on our Discord, and tell us what you want, because that's what we're here for. Bringing creative visions to life, whether our artists, whether the players, whether the community, etc. And thank you again, Dizzy, for inviting me.
Yeah. I mean, it's an honor to have you on the show. Really, it's so exciting. I always get flustered when I interview people, and it's like meeting. Every time it's somebody who's amazing. It's somebody who's so successful, and I look at myself and I'm just like, oh man, I was as cool as Tiago.
Dizzy, you're a talking bear with a Hawaiian shirt and a cap. I mean, how much more cool can you get?
Thank you, Tiago. Alrighty, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Thanks again for joining me, Tiago. Appreciate you. Look forward to seeing what is in store for all of us in the metaverse.
Yeah,
and,
definitely.
Thanks for everybody for watching.
Thanks, everyone.
Make sure you go buy the WMG pass. Alrighty, guys, have a good one.